On today's show, I'm going to give you some key tips that you can use to help shrug off any kind of shyness that you have when dealing with women and trying to attract them. Now, there was a guy that wrote me that was asking about his situation, whereby he's saying he's shy, he's awkward, he's able to talk to women, but he can't quite move it to a realm where it's getting a bit more sexual because he feels awkward. And so I'm going to go through his message and I'm going to give you guys some key strategies that you can use to start overcoming this shyness when it starts to build up in you. By the way, if you want more help in your dating life and being able to establish yourself as a more secure dater that can attract women, then I recommend you go to introvertdatingsuccess.com/IDS Academy VIP. This will take you to my enrollment page for my new coaching program called Introvert Dating Success Academy. It is a program that is designed to take you by the hands, help you rebuild your confidence, help you overcome shyness and anxiety, and help you to really establish yourself as the kind of dater that women will want to go out with while still being able to get your alone time. If that appeals to you, again, introvertdatingsuccess.com/IDS Academy VIP. I'm doing a VIP launch until April 11th. So be sure to go there and check that out. Also, if you guys have any questions you want answered on one of these shows, write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below. All right, so let's go ahead and get to this guy's question. He goes, shy guy here. I'm trying to do the whole dating thing after being tired of metaphorically walking through a desert. I've managed to get a small number of outings over the past 2 years or so, and while I can do an okay job of conversing, I just cannot for the life of me express myself in an even remotely flirty way. Well, I feel you, guy, because I understand as an introvert, it can be hard to want to make those moves if you're not sure of the outcome you're going to get. But here's the thing. Why is it that you're really afraid to make those flirty moves? Have you ever thought about that? Because we like think in our heads, well, we don't want to touch a woman if she's not ready for it, and we want to make sure that she's going to think this is appropriate. We don't want to come across as creepy. But what's our real hesitancy for doing these kind of moves? The ultimate reason is because we fear rejection and we fear embarrassment. And if there's a chance that either of those things could possibly happen when we go for a move with a woman, we're more apt to not want to do it. And as introverts, we don't want to make moves that aren't going to result in us being able to have the kind of result that we want. So that's a big part of that. So understand that's there because it's important to recognize that and realize that internally you're having this thought of you don't want rejection. But in the process of having that viewpoint of the world, you could be missing out on signals from a woman that's saying, hey, I'd be cool with him touching me. I'd be cool with him trying to approach me or kiss me or ask me out or get my number or whatever. The way that you're experiencing this and you're feeling these things is because you don't want rejection and you don't want embarrassment. But unfortunately, part of the dating game, if you want to get anywhere, means that you may have to do things that there could be a risk of that. Now, the nice thing is most women aren't going to outright reject you or yell at you or blow up in public to try to embarrass you. They might do a little slight turn their cheek if you try to kiss them, or they might kind of like move back a bit if you try to touch them when they're not ready. But there's ways to go about being able to figure out if that's going to happen before you make those moves. And I'll get to that in a second. Continuing, he says, I am also incredibly uncomfortable with breaking the touch barrier, even with just the tiny light touches to the arm in conversation. In essence, I feel extremely uncomfortable being sexual. It isn't so much a fear of rejection, okay, so much as it just feels like I would be doing something that's oppressive and bad. Cognitively, I know that's hogwash, but internally, I'm just overwhelmed by guilt and shame. Okay, but understand, this is important where he says, I feel like I'll be doing something that's oppressive and bad. You don't want to come across as that creepy guy, and you don't want to enforce your sexuality on a woman that is not open to it or is wanting of it from you. So this can cause you to want to hold back because you're thinking, unless I get all green lights, then I am not going to make any of these moves. But remember, in order to get the results you want, part of this does mean that these moves have to be made. And so when you're interacting with a woman, there are going to be certain things you can look for to see if she would be open to that touch. For example, if you guys start off where you're across from each other and you're talking, and then she comes over to you and wants to like sit next to you, that's a sign. If you guys are walking and talking and she kind of starts accidentally bumping into you, she's now touching you. That is a sign. And there are a lot of signals that women will throw your way that if you're aware of them, will allow you to recognize that, oh, she's actually open to your touch, which then does what? It lessens the risk for you because if she's giving you signals that indicate that she'd be cool with you doing these things, then there's no risk to you if you're going for a touch. Also, I need you to get out of your head And I know it's going to be hard, but I need you to get out of the mindset that you doing anything that would indicate sexual things whatsoever is a bad thing. It is not a bad thing for a woman to view you as sexual. In fact, it's better. Because let's say you go for a touch and she's not exactly open to it. Well, at least she knows that you find her attractive on some primitive level. And just because she doesn't accept your first touch does not mean she will not go forth and want to experience another touch from you. I dated women where by the second date, I might have wanted to go for a kiss, and I go for the kiss, and then I get feedback like, hey, I wasn't really ready for that. I wasn't prepared, whatever. And I just fall back and say, okay, hey, this wasn't the right time. But I put it out there. She knows that I want her in a sexual way. And then usually on a subsequent date, either that next day or the date after that, now because she knows from the experience of me trying to kiss her that I see her in a sexual realm, then she's going to know that she can come to me when she's ready and feels that and can do those touches. I can do that kissing, that tight hugging, all the way up to a hookup, okay? But it's out there. Now, the nice thing is women will respect you if you respect their timing. But they're not going to respect you if you don't try at all. Because it's better for you to try for a touch and get a slight rejection, but at least put it out there that you want her in a physical way, than to not do any kind of touch whatsoever. And then she has no idea if you'd ever want to touch her whatsoever. And she starts thinking things like, well, maybe he's gay. Maybe he doesn't find me attractive. Maybe we don't really have as much connection and chemistry as I thought we did. I should be seeking elsewhere. Maybe this is more of a friend thing that he wants. And so since he's not doing any moves that would indicate he'd want something physical, it must mean he just sees me as a friend. So we're just going to go that route. And then you miss out. And so this is why, even if you feel as though you shouldn't make certain moves, you have to really start looking at how are women experiencing you when you don't do these moves? What are women thinking about you when you don't try to go for these touches? How are they supposed to know that you want them in that way if you're not giving any indicators of that? Continuing on, he asked, how can I get over this? If I can't figure this stuff out, I'm just going to keep coming across as the uninterested and asexual friend, no matter what I actually think and feel, which is really getting me down at this point. Guy, I've been there. In my late teens and early 20s, I was all about the thought of, I don't want a woman to overtly know that I like her, because if she knows that and she's not feeling it, I don't get to hang out with this girl anymore, or she's going to think that I'm creepy and awkward and she's not going to want to be around me. So with that said, I'm going to give you some actual tips that you can do, okay? So the first thing is very important, okay? Understand that repetition is your best friend. And part of the reason you might be nervous about possibly doing some kind of touching when you're talking to her or whatever is because you haven't been in the practice of doing this, okay? So as dumb as this is going to feel when you do it, when you're at home by yourself, you need to be practicing how you would go about making certain touches in a way that would be comfortable, be natural, and not creep women out. So for example, the classic example is the whole, you're talking to somebody and then you say, oh, hey, and then this other thing happened, and you reach out and you touch them on the shoulder, touch them on the arm. If her hand's on the table, you would reach out to her hand and do the little tap. These are moves that you can practice at home. If you have like a teddy bear or a pillow or something like that, but you can set something up, like say it was like a pillow. Set up a pillow against your wall, act like it's a girl. I know it's gonna sound stupid, but you're by yourself, it doesn't matter. So you're sitting there and just practice telling your story. Blah, 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 this happened. Oh, and then this thing happened over here too, boom, and pull back. So you practice that 1 or 2 second touch to the shoulder, that 1 or 2 second touch to the hand, or if you're doing a walk and talk, like walking, and then just kind of practice like moving your hand here and like hitting the small of her back for like 2 or 3 seconds to guide her, and then taking it away. So what are you doing? One, you're practicing your time limit. You're recognizing that you don't have to touch a woman for like 20 seconds at a time to do these light touches. They can just be like 2 or 3 second touches here or there. In the beginning, when you're starting to see a girl for the first time, you don't want to have to do a whole lot of touches. You want to kind of gauge how she feels with the touch meter thing, but that's why you keep your touches short, because you're not going to come across as creepy if you're trying to like touch her hand and then hold her for like 10 seconds. That's going to be a little creepy if she's not ready for you to do that. But in the beginning, just, oh, hey, this little thing here, tap, tap, tap. But you got to practice it, because what's going to happen is when you first practice these things, it's going to feel weird and awkward, and you're going to come across as silly to yourself. But the more practice you do with yourself at home, it's going to be a lot more natural when you do it in the real world. Okay. So that's why it's important to get into the habit. Try to practice it like 2 or 3 times a day. And then these motions, these movements will become natural. So when you go out there, you can do them effortlessly. Okay. Number 2, when you're with these women on dates, you want to be looking for what I call IOIs, indicators of interest. And what these are things that you're looking at her to do to see if she is ready for sexual escalation or just touch escalation or, any kind of interest on her part that is rising. So if you're talking to her, for example, and she leans into you, or like I said earlier, you're walking and talking and she bumps into you, or when you're saying certain things to her, she's saying things like, really, that's fascinating. Oh, wow, I'd love to learn how to do that. What? Oh, I'd love to go to this place that you just mentioned out of the blue. When she's doing these things, these are things that are saying, hey, I'm trying to let you know, guy, that I want to spend more time with you. If a woman's giving those kind of indicators, or if she's, tossing her hair back or batting her eyes or doing things that women will do when they can't help but show that they like you passively, then that's going to let you know that it's fine to make certain moves, whether it's touching her in her arm or her hand, or asking for her number, or even asking her for a date on the spot. Okay. But if you get out of your own self and look at what she's doing, then it's going to make it easier for you. And when you're able to notice those signals, you'll be less anxious and less shy because you're going to have a stronger indicator that you're going to get more positive responses from the moves that you try to make. Third tip, don't take this so seriously. I think the big mistake that a lot of shy guys make is they're shy because they put their stakes so high with every single move. For example, you'll think to yourself, man, if I try to touch her on the arm, oh my God, she's going to know that I like her and she's going to possibly reject me. Or if I ask for a number, oh my God, she's going to think that I want to marry her and this is going to be the worst thing ever. And in the process, you end up taking the fun out of dating because you're putting so much seriousness on all these moves that you're trying to do just to get her number and just to ask her out, that you end up being in your head. You end up being too anxious. And then you think to yourself, all these moves are so serious that I can't make them, because if she's not ready to be that serious with me, then it's going to make me look like a fool. I'm going to get embarrassed and rejected, and she's not going to want to talk to me. So recognize that all these moves that you're trying to do just to try to see her again, small potatoes. Like in the grand scheme of things, you doing a small touch here and you asking for a date and you asking for her number, all small moves. And yes, there is a chance that you risk rejection and you risk embarrassment if she doesn't reciprocate. But one, women are typically very, very nice on the rejection front. Like if they're not feeling you, they'll come up with an excuse that they hope you'll get, as if to say, hey, I'm just busy all the time, or I can't really make it, I'm so sorry. They'll do it that way where it's like, this is as nice as I can get. I hope the guy gets a hint that I don't want to see him or I don't want to talk to him. But for the most part, most women are willing to give you a phone number. Most women, when you're talking to them, are going to be touching you also and touching your shoulder and your hand and whatever. So don't take it so seriously. Be the jokey guy that you are with your guy friends. Like when you're hanging out with your guy friends, you're just joking. You're not really giving two thoughts about what you say or what you do. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be aware of saying certain things could result in, being offensive, like overly sexist jokes and stuff like that. But for the most part, I found that treating a woman that you're interested in terms of talking to her and interacting with her like you treat your guy friends, usually will get you pretty far. It'll make the woman feel jovial about being around you. It'll let her guard down, and then she'll start being flirty with you. She'll start touching you, and then you'll be able to see that just by being a fun guy, not being in your head, you're going to get the positive results that you want. Last tip I'll give you guys is this. Stop focusing so much on trying to impress these women, because the more you try to focus on impressing them, the more in your head you are about you having to be the perfect guy. You need to start asking yourself one very important question. What is she going to do that's going to impress me? Like realistically, if you just start talking to a woman, you don't really know her all that well. So you trying to put her on a pedestal and you having all these thoughts about what a great future you guys could have. And, oh my God, I don't want to screw up by saying the wrong thing because this could be my only shot at love, this and that. You don't actually know if you want to see that girl. So you need to take the onus off of you having to be the most impressive one in this interaction and think to yourself, wait, but what is she going to do to impress me? How do I actually know that this woman is worth my time? What is she going to do to show me that I need to be asking for a number? Real talk, I met a girl one time. I was doing a video shoot of some kind, and I saw this girl, and she looked really, really cute. And so I went up to her to just try to start a dialogue. And when she opened her mouth, she had a voice like Minnie Mouse, full-grown woman, voice like Minnie Mouse, and it instantly turned me off. But imagine if I had not even approached her in the first place. If I was that shy guy that was like, I don't want to approach because she's so pretty, she probably gets all the guys and blah, blah. I wouldn't have gone up to her and I wouldn't have heard her voice and been like, oh, I can't do this. But because I was out of my head and I was just focused on just meeting everybody there at the video shoot and just being a fun guy, it made me approach. And had she had a better sounding voice, I would have probably been able to be more flirty and talky, whatever. But the point is, you don't know what you don't know. And you're not going to realistically know if these women are worth your time until you do things like go up to them and approach and ask them questions to see what they're about, to do things like, hey, if I touch this girl on the arm, is she going to react positively, or is she going to be that kind of stuffy girl that can't have fun when I'm not even doing like a touch on any of her major private parts? Like, these are things you have to find out, and you only do this through interaction, through repetition, and through trying to getting out of your head and recognizing that, hey, there's a double process here. Just like you're thinking you got to impress her, really, if this is going to go anywhere, she has to also impress you. And so this should be more of a fact-finding mission about that than this big thing about being so anxious because you can't approach, all right? So hopefully some of these tips will help you out, guys. And if you really want to figure out how to once and for all, just get rid of this anxiety, get rid of this shyness, get rid of this pressure that you feel when you approach women, which I felt in my past too was a hard thing to get over, but I was able to do it. I've been able to have a great dating life. I've been able to meet a lot of great women and have awesome fun times and hookups and all that good stuff. And I'm an introvert just like you. So if this is something that you yourself would like to have in your life, I highly recommend just checking out my Introvert Dating Success Academy. Again, it's a 12-week coaching program that is designed to do one thing: take you from this guy that's anxious and shy to a guy that women are looking at like, my, I need to have him. And so you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com/IDS Academy VIP to check out the enrollment page. If you like what you see, you can apply for the program there. We can set up a free phone consultation to see how I can help you. And yeah, we can go from there. So again, the website is introvertdatingsuccess.com/IDS Academy VIP. Check it out today. If you found the info in this episode to be helpful, please show your support by clicking on the tip jar tab, the link of which can be found at the website and in the description below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode and catch new episodes right here on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out these other episodes so you too can learn to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.